Hey guys, welcome back to OrmsTV. Today we have the Sony FE 100mm f2.8 STF GM OSS Lens right here. We're going to give it a test. We've brought along a super cute dog for shameless clickbaiting. You would have probably seen him on the OrmsTV Instagram feed. We're going to test this lens out and see why it might just be the perfect portrait lens for you to get. Okay, so let's have a look at this lens. So firstly, it is a 100mm. It is f2.8. It is in Sony's G Master range, so you know the quality is going to be excellent. So this lens is an FE designation, so it is specifically designed for their full-frame mirrorless cameras. But as with all the other lenses in the Sony lineup, you can also use them on the APS-C cameras. Now, this specific unit has a macro switch. So it's not a true macro, but it does give you macro-like elements that you can use. We'll test that out and show you guys how that works. Now, this specific lens has one relatively unique feature, and it's the first Sony lens to feature an optical apodization element within the lens. Now, that basically works like an ND filter, but unlike a traditional ND filter, it gets progressively darker or denser towards the edges of the filter itself. Now, that has the effect of giving you beautifully circular, creamy and smooth bokeh within your image. And we're going to show you exactly how that looks when we go up to the studio and shoot some images with it. It does, however, have a negative effect, and that you will see on the aperturing. So though it is a 2.8 lens, you cannot turn it down to f2.8. It goes to f5.6. So that apodization element essentially takes away 2 stops of light from your lens. And you might think, ooh, that's a bit of a downside, but actually it's not that bad, and we'll show you why. So this lens also, as Sony has been starting to do with most of their G Master lenses, as you can hear your aperture normally, you can also declick it. So nice and smooth, so much better for when you're shooting some video with it. The 100mm also features a focus lock button, which is handy when you're shooting in faster situations. So imagine you're at a wedding or something like that, and you just want to be able to quickly lock it out and carry on shooting, so you don't have to re-hunt for focus every time. So we're going to test this lens by shooting it next to another lens, because that is really the only way to show you what that apodization element can really do. So we've brought along a Sony A7 Mark III and a 70-200 f2.8 G Master lens. Now, the reason why we chose that lens is that is sort of a go-to portrait lens for a lot of people, especially wedding photographers, fashion photographers. So we're going to test those two side by side and see what the actual effects are of that lens element. So we're going to head up to the studio at Orms Cape Town School of Photography. We're going to take the dog with us, light it up, and see what we can get. Let's have a look. Okay, so we just got back from the studio, got all the cute doggy pictures we could squeeze in. Let's have a quick look at them. Okay, so first things first, we're going to show you one of the images that was shot with the 70-200 2.8 G Master. What we're interested in is the bokeh. So cropping in a little bit, you can see very nice, very pleasing, quite circular, very smooth bokeh. Let's bring up how the 100mm f2.8 STF performed. Now, immediately you can see that your bokeh is a lot more pleasing. It is perfectly circular. There is almost no fall off. The edges are very, very smooth, and you know, it's a little bit cliche to say, but this is some real creamy bokeh. Okay, so that effect really is what this lens is about. It's about getting that perfect bokeh in your background every single time. And apart from maybe something like Fuji's 56mm 1.2, there is nothing else that has this effect at the moment. And there's nothing else in the Sony lineup that gives you this exact effect. It is quite spectacular. Now, yes, it is a very, very niche lens. It's a 100mm portrait lens, and there isn't going to be a ton of applications for it. But if you are a dedicated portrait photographer, maybe you shoot beauty shots, a wedding photographer even, or somebody who does fashion photography and you're looking for something unique, something to give you a little bit of an edge over the competition, this just might be it. It is just unique enough to put it into a league of its own, and definitely something that you're not going to find anywhere else in the Sony lineup. So for dedicated portraits, lovely, lovely lens. Okay guys, thank you very much for joining us for that video. If you enjoyed that quick look at Fuji's FE 100mm f2.8 STF GM OSS lens, please don't forget to drop us a like, comment or subscribe. We love hearing from you guys. Thank you very much.